Welcome back to Torque and Power. Appreciate you guys checking in. Today we got a fun day, at least I think it's going to be a blast. We're going to do a little comparison video between the three bikes. It is Illinois, it is 50 degrees. Last ride maybe for the year on these bikes, so we got to get them ready for winter, so put some stabilizer in them. So we're going to do a little comparison video. And we're going to take out the 2018 Street Glide Special. Stock 107. I'll talk about what we got on the bike when we go for a ride. We got the 2016 Fat Boy S right over here. Love that bike, awesome beast. And then we got the 2017 V-Rod Muscle as well. So we're gonna be taking all three of these bikes out and we'll do a little run through, you know, see what it's like between all three of them. I've never done all three where I've gone from one seat to the other, so this should be fun. I'm excited, kind of see what they're like in comparison to them. But all cruiser bikes, all so much fun, all provide great experiences. So I figured, why not? Let's get on it, let's have some fun. Last ride, I already brought the other bikes in. Let's get this one going. All right, did we save the best for last? Oh, woo, how do you not like that? All right, warmed up, ready to go. Let's get it going. Like I said before, this is my 2017 V-Rod Muscle. This is the last year that they made this bike. It's pretty cool. I got to see them get built in Kansas City, which is awesome. They only made it for 3 months because that was the end of the V-Rod. They kind of shocked everybody with that it was the last time that they're making this bike in Kansas City. And it was great. I got to go down a week before they were done making them. I kind of heard the rumors, figured out it was true, especially when they shut down the tours out there. Let's get it going a little bit, huh? Found out they were shutting down the tours down there, so I'm like, well, that's without a question that they are done making these guys in production. So I was lucky enough to be the last week that they made the bike. It was great. They actually announced it there as we were going through the tour. Harley didn't even publicly announce it at that point, but they let us know, so it was great. So I like to pretend that I got to see this bike go through production and I was there for the build. But realistically, this bike was a little bit earlier on than when I was there. But that's okay. I can pretend, I can dream a little bit, so it's pretty cool. Always wanted to be there for production of building your own vehicle. Alright, so we'll give this bike a little juice. See how it does, which this is the main difference between the bikes, what it's about. Yeah, without a question. Neither one of those other bikes even hold a candle to this one when it comes to the speed. Gotta love that. This motor is just bulletproof. Absolutely bulletproof. You read everything about it, never is there an issue or anything like that. The bike went through the Dusseldorf test twice, there we go if I can talk, in Germany for Porsche. Bike is just absolutely amazing. Like I said, bulletproof. So 120 horsepower right off the bat, obviously a freaking killer when it comes to the Harleys. Their highest horsepower out of the box, besides now the Sportster S that's out there. It doesn't have more horsepower, but it's got more torque, and I've driven it. That Sportster S is fast, so thinking about getting one of those, or you do have one of those, a lot of respect. That bike is awesome. I love it. Just a little too small for my frame, but great freaking bike. And yeah, so going back to production of these things, this one's only 155 of them they made worldwide in this color, so it's pretty nice knowing you got more of a limited bike. Not to say mechanically it's any different than any others from 09, but oh, I love that Vance and Hines. So not much done to this bike. If you watch my other videos, you already know that, but I'll go over it again. This bike is pretty close to stock, which is the idea. I like it stock. And all right, here we go. Oh, it's just fun grabbing the gear. Look at that, horses don't even care. But this bike, yeah, pretty stock. It's a 1250 motor.
slip-ons, advanced and highs and competitions. I think they're awesome. I love the exhaust. I think the note sounds great. Not too loud, not too quiet. It gives it such a kick-ass sound. First time I ever heard it was when I was shopping for this bike, and they had a used one on the showroom floor, and it had this exhaust, and they started it up, and oh, that was it for me. I was in love with this exhaust. So, got that on the bike. I got the Moto Hooligan intake, which you guys can see as well. I'll pop a video of that. I've done a video of the exhaust, plus also the Moto Hooligan intake, which I think is great. It's beautiful. Solves that oil issue where it leaks. Not to mention, it also gives a little bit of performance added to it. So you can never go wrong with a little bit of performance. Let's see what else. I had the K&N before on it, but since I put the Moto Hooligan, obviously there's no need for the K&N filter to lay in the tray. And then also, besides that, I just got aftermarket grips and stuff, cosmetics. The Dominion collection up here, and the Dominion down on my pegs, which is kind of like mini floorboards. I like them. They're comfortable. They keep up high, so I don't have to worry about scraping. I like the way they look. I think they fit well. I'm all about things looking kind of close to stock. Plus the LED Hogworks light up front has been done to this bike, which I did a video on that as well, which you guys can check out. But what is coming up? So make sure you guys hit that subscribe and ding that bell. Is coming up for this channel. We're going to have the Jones Stage 2. And I'm going to do a full install myself, which means taking the motor out of the bike and doing the install. So that will be a blast. My first one of actually any kind of motor work to this bike. So that would be great. I can't wait to actually do that. That'll be a great winter project. So make sure you guys hit the subscribe button to follow along with that if you're big into V-rods. But otherwise, yeah, 1250 bike, and that's it. I'm going to keep it there. No big bore, kit, nothing like that. I'm really happy with the performance. I really think this thing moves. And oh, here we go. Speaking of move, I get another little opportunity here, huh? Oh, got a little loose there. A little loose in the rear. That's what happens when it's 50 degrees in Illinois. You get a little loose. So yeah, but this bike is awesome. So comparison now, right? That's what we're talking about. Comparison videos between them. This bike, I like it. It's a clamshell fit to it. I do find it comfortable. Yeah, it's not as comfortable as what it would be on the Street Glide or the Fat Boy. That's kind of more of a couch position when it comes to it, especially on the Street Glide with the high bars. This one, you're kind of leaning forward. But I have ridden this bike all day, not a problem. Gone on trips on it, weekends, stuff like that. It's great. I have no issue when it comes to that. It's not convenient, obviously, for the trips because packing stuff up. I don't have bags or a sissy bar in the back to do that stuff, so typically it's going to be a backpack or something along those means. So it's not going to be a long haul I'm going to do with it. But it is comfortable. But if you compare it to the others, obviously it's not close. The shocks in the rear, I do have the stock ones on. I'm not sure I'm going to change them because I don't go on that long a haul, and it certainly does the job for me. I know a lot of guys do. It certainly increases the ride quality without a question. And also the front, if you do the front shocks, it helps with the diving of the suspension under braking. So yeah, ride quality obviously is better on those, but I don't think it's bad on this at all. I think the treble's fine. Rarely do I bottom it out. The brakes are phenomenal on this bike. I think they're awesome on the Street Glide as well. Obviously a little bit heavier bike, so it's not going to be as good. And honestly, I think the Fat Boy S, even though it's got a single disc in front, I think it's more than adequate. Never had an issue with the braking on that as well. This bike, a little longer rake, so it's a little bit harder to turn. So you will notice that compared to the Street Glide. It's different. It's kind of funny because the Street Glide is the most agile and it's the heaviest when it comes to going into turns. This bike is not. It's a little bit, got to throw into the turns a little bit more because of that 240 rear tire. And the pegs are in front with the forward controls. And then you got the Fat Boy S, which you compare that one to, and it's got the floorboard sitting back, but because the bike is lower, it just scrapes those boards on every turn. I'm surprised they didn't make them a little bit higher, but I'm not the engineer, so I'm sure they did what they could. But like right there, that would have scraped the Fat Boy S. The Street Glide, I could have taken it probably twice as fast to whip it in the corner. I can trust it a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, besides the obvious huge difference in the cosmetics looks, you know, I just feel so freaking cool on this bike. Every time I get on, I feel cool. I'm gonna go a million miles an hour. I'm sit back. I'm in a cruise. driving it. It's definitely comparable to the Milwaukee 8. I think that one's really refined and smooth as well. They did a great job. The twin cam, like I said, is a little bit more raw in the other video. If you guys haven't seen the other ones, I did part 1 and part 2 with the Fat Boy S's part 1 and the Street Glide Special is part 2 of a comparison, since I got to take these guys out to winterize them a little bit anyways. What else? Man, it's just obviously performance. This thing just flies. It just hauls. It just really hauls. I love it. I can't imagine needing a bike much faster. Obviously, I've had sport bikes for a long time, so those are immensely quicker, but they're just so quick. Like, your eyes have a tough time even keeping up with them. They're so fast. They're so meant for track days, in my opinion. They can get scary quick. I've also had the power vision done on this bike as well, so I've done auto tuning on it with my narrow bands. It's helped it a lot, especially with the intake. Once I did the intake, without a question, it needed that. Otherwise, this bike runs really lean, so the power vision helped a lot. Once I do the cams, then it will get a full tune, and we'll see what it gets for power. I'm hoping like 130 at the rear would be awesome. Oh, there's someone doing a little fire back, burning stuff up. Oh, and a fire in front. All right, look at that, double fire action going on. Wait, no one's playing games here. Or you just want to go out on a nice weekend haul. This thing's got no problem whatsoever. I don't think it's like the most passenger friendly. Plus, I don't think you're really going to get the most out of the bike if you have a passenger on it, if you really want to get going on it. So something to think about too. I've seen quite a few guys who trade their V-Rods in within a year or two. Kind of a lot like Sportsters and some Softails. All of a sudden they want a companion to go with them, and it's not that comfy for the companion. And you certainly, like I said, you're not going to drive the bike the way you want to with someone on the back, unless you want to get yelled at when you get home. But so that's a little bit more difficult. Something to think about if you're in the cruiser market. Because man, those baggers are getting fast. They are getting fast. It's nice to do an oil change on this guy. It is just one hole, and that is it. No 3-hole like it is for the others. The transmission, the motor is all part of it. So it's an easy 5 quarts and you're done. Again, appreciate you guys checking in. Hope you guys enjoyed the little ride, the little talk, and we'll catch up soon. Until then, keep both wheels down.